Sarah wore white to my engagement party, stealing my moment. Her fake baby bump fooled everyone, even my mom. I exposed her lies, but then she claimed I'm having a baby. I'll never forget the night James proposed to me. It was a crisp evening at the Pink Door, my favorite restaurant in Seattle. The place was alive with clinking glasses, soft jazz, and the glow of candlelight. My family and friends surrounded us, their smiles warm as James dropped to one knee. My heart raced. The room seemed to hold its breath as he opened the velvet box, the ring sparkling under the chandeliers. I said yes, tears streaming down my face. Everyone cheered, and the band struck up a romantic tune. It was perfect, a moment I'd dreamed of forever. But as I scanned the crowd, my joy faltered. My cousin Sarah, my closest confidant since childhood, wasn't there. Her absence hit like a punch to the gut. I tried to push it aside, focusing on James twirling me on the dance floor, but the ache lingered. Why wasn't she here? The next morning I called her, my hands trembling. "Sarah, where were you last night?" I asked, voice tight. Her reply was cold, cutting through the line like a knife. "I don't think you should marry James. You deserve better." I froze, stunned. Better? James was kind, driven, everything I'd ever wanted. The call ended abruptly with a beep, her words echoing in my head. I drove to her apartment in Capitol Hill after work, my mind racing. She opened the door, her face all smiles, and pulled me into a hug. "Oh, Emily, so good to see you," she chirped, her voice unnaturally high. I tensed, pulling back. "What was that call about?" I demanded. She laughed, waving it off. "Just a joke, silly. Don't be so serious." Her eyes glinted, something sharp behind the smile. Was it envy? I brushed it off. She's family, I told myself. Family doesn't mean harm, but deep down, a seed of doubt took root, and I couldn't shake the feeling that something was very wrong. Sarah insisted on planning my engagement party. I thought it was her way of making up for missing the proposal, so I let her take charge. She booked a venue in Tacoma, a charming hall with fairy lights and a waterfront view. I was touched by her effort, but something felt off. She was too eager, too controlling, picking out every detail, even my dress. "Trust me, Emily," she said, her voice syrupy sweet. "I know what's best." I nodded, ignoring the unease creeping up my spine. The morning of the party, my mom handed me the dress. Sarah chose a soft green gown. "It's not white," I said, confused. Mom shrugged. "Sarah said green's your color." I slipped it on, feeling pretty but slightly uneasy. It wasn't what I'd imagined for my big night. When James and I arrived at the hall, the place was stunning, flowers everywhere, music swelling. My heart lifted. Maybe I'd misjudged Sarah. Then I saw her. She glided in wearing a white ball gown, sparkling like a bride. My stomach dropped. Guests turned, whispering, their eyes on her, not me. I felt invisible, my green dress dull against her radiance. James squeezed my hand, his jaw tight. "What's she doing?" he muttered. Before I could speak, he pulled Sarah aside, his voice low but firm. "Why the white dress, Sarah? This is Emily's night." She laughed, tossing her hair. "I just love white. It's not a big deal." Her smile was sharp, daring us to challenge her. I felt heat rise in my cheeks, my joy souring. I stepped in, trying to stay calm. "Sarah, I feel upstaged. Can you please not do this at the wedding?" Her eyes widened, mock innocence. "Upstaged? Oh, Emily, don't be dramatic. My boyfriend was this close to proposing, but your little party stole his thunder." I blinked, confused. She'd never mentioned a boyfriend before. The rest of the night, she flitted around, charming everyone, while I forced smiles, my heart heavy. Later in the car, James was furious. "She's trying to make this about her," he said. I nodded, tears stinging. "She's family, though. Maybe she didn't mean it." But her text came that night, a long apology. "I'm so sorry, Emily. I didn't realize how it looked. I'll make it up to you." I wanted to believe her, but that glint in her eyes haunted me. Was this really a mistake, or was Sarah playing a game I didn't understand? I went to bed uneasy, dreading what she'd pull next. The months leading to my wedding were a blur of joy. James took charge of most of the planning, insisting I enjoy being the bride. We chose a gorgeous venue in Portland, a garden estate with roses and twinkling lights. I was so wrapped up in love, I barely noticed Sarah's quiet presence. Her apology after the engagement party had softened me, and I invited her to the wedding, hoping she'd respect my day. She promised to wear pastel, nothing flashy. I believed her, telling myself family deserves second chances. My friends gushed over James, and I kept my excitement private, not wanting to jinx it. But as the wedding day arrived, a knot of worry tightened in my chest. I should have trusted that instinct. At the venue, everything was perfect. My white dress hugged my curves, and James looked at me like I was the only person in the world. Sarah arrived early, wearing a soft pink dress, just as I'd asked. Relief washed over me. Maybe she'd changed. The ceremony was a dream, vows exchanged under a floral arch, our families tearing up. At the reception, I gave a heartfelt speech, thanking everyone for sharing our joy. Then, I let Sarah make a toast. She'd begged for the chance, and I thought it'd be a sweet gesture. Big mistake. She stood, glass raised, her smile too wide. "To Emily and James," she began, "a couple who remind us love is magical." I smiled, but then her hand rested on her stomach, a subtle curve visible. My heart sank. "I have news of my own," she said, voice lilting. "I'm pregnant." The room gasped, then erupted in cheers. She pulled out an ultrasound photo, waving it like a trophy. My vision blurred with tears. Couldn't she wait one day? This was my moment. James gripped my hand under the table, whispering, "Ignore her, Emily. This is about us." But the crowd swarmed Sarah, congratulating her, while I sat frozen, my joy stolen. I forced a smile, joining the chatter about her baby, but something felt wrong. During a quiet moment, I caught Sarah in the corner, downing a glass of champagne when she thought no one was watching. My stomach churned. Pregnant women don't drink like that. I leaned into James, whispering, "She's faking it. I saw her with champagne." His eyes narrowed. "Are you sure?" I nodded, my anger rising. Why would she lie about something so serious? I wanted to confront her, scream that that she was a fraud, but I held back. Instead, I played along, gushing about her pregnancy with a tight smile. "Oh, Sarah, how exciting. When's the due date?" I asked, watching her closely. She hesitated, mumbling, "Oh, around spring." Her eyes darted away. For the rest of the night, I kept an eye on her. Her bump seemed to shift, like it wasn't real. She basked in the attention, soaking up every congratulations while I fought to keep my composure. James pulled me onto the dance floor, trying to salvage the night. "We'll deal with her later," he said, his voice steady. But my mind raced. Was she jealous? Desperate for attention? I remembered her engagement party stunt, the white dress, the glint in her eyes. This wasn't a one-time thing. Sarah was orchestrating a performance, and I was done being her supporting actress. By the time we left for our honeymoon, I was seething. I confided in my mom, who brushed it off. "Sarah's just excited, honey. Don't take it personally." But it was personal. She'd hijacked my wedding, my spotlight, with a lie. I decided to watch her closely. If she was faking this pregnancy, I'd prove it. Not out of spite, but because I couldn't let her manipulate our family anymore. As we drove to the airport, James squeezed my hand. "Whatever she's up to, we'll figure it out together." I nodded, but inside, a storm was brewing. Sarah had crossed a line, and I wasn't letting it slide. Life after the wedding was supposed to be calm, but Sarah made sure it wasn't. A few weeks later, my mom called, her voice bubbling with excitement. "Emily, I'm so thrilled you're hosting Sarah's baby shower at your place in Bellevue." I nearly choked on my coffee. "What? I never offered that." My apartment was tiny, barely big enough for me and James, let alone a party. Mom paused, confused. "Sarah said you insisted, that you wanted to be super involved with your new cousin." My blood boiled. Sarah had lied, roping me into her drama without asking. I wanted to call it off, but Mom had already sent invitations. "Fine," I sighed. "We'll make it work." But inside, I was furious. Why was she dragging me into her web? The baby shower was chaos. 30 people crammed into our living room, cooing over Sarah as she sat like a queen, her belly suspiciously round. She wore a tight dress that made her bump look perfect, too perfect. I caught James's eye across the room. He raised an eyebrow, thinking the same thing. I mingled, playing the good host, but watched Sarah closely. She told one aunt she was having a boy, another it was a girl, and a third she wanted it to be a surprise. Her due date shifted to April to May, then back again. My head spun. How could no one else notice these contradictions? I pulled my mom aside, whispering, "Does Sarah's story seem off to you?" She frowned. "She's just excited, Emily. Pregnancy's overwhelming." I bit my tongue, not wanting to sound bitter. Then I saw it. Sarah adjusted her dress, and her bump moved like a pillow slipping. My heart raced. I nudged James, who'd been refilling drinks. "Did you see that?" I hissed. He nodded, his face grim. "That's not a real belly." We kept quiet, but my suspicions grew. Sarah was milking the attention, opening gifts, expensive strollers, designer onesies worth thousands. She'd posted a registry online, begging for donations, claiming she'd cut back work hours. But I knew she'd been fired from her marketing job in Seattle months ago. How was she affording her rent? After the guests left, our apartment a mess of wrapping paper, I vented to James. "She's lying, James. The bump, the stories, the registry, it's all fake." He rubbed his temples. "But why? What's her endgame?" I paced, my anger flaring. "Attention? Money? She's scamming everyone." James suggested we stay out of it, but I couldn't. Sarah was manipulating our family, and I felt like the only one seeing it. The next day, she texted a group chat with another ultrasound pic, captioned, "Baby's growing so fast." It looked generic, like a stock image. I saved it, my resolve hardening. I started documenting everything. Her bump looked bigger some days, smaller others. I screenshot her social media posts, where she claimed different due dates. At a family dinner, I noticed her bump shift again when she sat down. It was unreal, like a prop. I confided in my cousin Michael, who'd always been skeptical of Sarah's antics. "I think she's faking it too," he admitted, scrolling through her Instagram. "Look at this beach pic from last week, no bump at all." My jaw dropped. The photo was recent, taken during her baby moon in California. Pregnant women don't just lose their belly for a day. Michael and I became detectives. He dug deeper, finding out Sarah hadn't worked since before my wedding. She'd been living off savings and maybe family loans. I felt sick. Was she using this fake pregnancy to con people? I wanted to confront her, but James urged caution. "You need hard proof, Emily. If you're wrong, it'll blow up in your face." He was right. Accusing her without evidence would make me the villain. So I kept watching, waiting for her to slip up. But Sarah was bold, showing up at my office for lunch dates, claiming pregnant ladies need company. My coworkers thought it was sweet. I wanted to scream. Her lies were suffocating me, and I knew this couldn't go on forever. Something had to give. I couldn't let Sarah's lies slide anymore. Her fake pregnancy was spiraling, and I needed proof. Michael, my cousin, was on board, his skepticism matching mine. We became an unofficial detective team, piecing together evidence like a puzzle. I started with her social media, saving every post. One day, she'd claim she was 6 months along. The next, her bump looked barely there. I had photos from the baby shower where her belly shifted unnaturally, like a stuffed cushion. Michael sent me a screenshot from a family barbecue in Olympia. Sarah's bump was lopsided after she leaned back in a chair. "No real belly does that," he texted. My heart pounded. We were onto something. Michael dug deeper. He called a friend who worked at Sarah's old marketing firm in Seattle. "She was fired 3 months before your wedding," he told me. "Didn't tell anyone in the family." That explained her constant lunch dates at my office she had no job to go to. But why fake a pregnancy? I wondered if it was just attention until I overheard my Aunt Linda at a family dinner. "Sarah borrowed $2,000 from me for baby stuff," she whispered, her brow furrowed. She was so vague about it. My stomach twisted. Sarah wasn't just seeking attention. She was scamming our family for cash. The bombshell came when Michael found her profile on a dating app. The photo, dated dated 2 weeks ago during her so-called baby moon in California, showed Sarah in a tight dress, no bump in sight. Got her, Michael texted. I stared at the screen, my hands shaking. She'll say it's an old photo, I replied, but doubt not at me. The evidence was piling up. Inconsistent due dates, shifting bumps, champagne at the wedding, and now this. I showed James the profile. She's not pregnant, I said, my voice trembling with anger. He nodded, his face grim. This is fraud, Emily. She's taking money from people. I wanted to confront her, but James urged patience. You need something undeniable, he said. So we kept digging. I made a spreadsheet of her lies, every conflicting due date, every post with a different bump size. At another family gathering, I caught her telling my uncle she needed a little help for a $1,500 crib. He handed her a check, his face soft with pity. I felt sick. She was preying on our family's kindness. Aunt Linda pulled me aside later, her voice low. I've raised 3 kids, Emily. That's no 7-month belly. She moves like she's hiding something. Relief flooded me. Someone else saw it. Michael and I shared our findings with Linda. She was stunned, but believed us. She asked me for another loan last week, she admitted. Said it was for a nursery. We showed her the dating app photo, the spreadsheet, the screenshots. Her eyes widened. This isn't right. With Linda on our side, we had a plan. We'd gather more evidence before confronting Sarah, but she was making it easy to slip up. Her latest Instagram post showed her on a beach, bump perfectly round, too perfect, like those silicone bellies sold online. The caption read, "Twins kicking at sunset." Twins? She'd never mentioned twins before. The lies were getting bolder. I felt torn. Part of me wanted to expose her publicly, to scream the truth at the next family event, but another part wondered if Sarah needed help, not humiliation. Was she desperate? Mentally unwell? I confided in James, who sighed. She's hurting people, Emily. Family or not, this has to stop. He was right. The $2,000 from Linda, the crib money from my uncle, it was theft. I wasn't just protecting myself anymore. I was protecting everyone. But I needed one final piece of evidence. Something so clear even Sarah couldn't twist it. I didn't know what was coming, but I knew I was close to unraveling her game. I couldn't wait any longer. Sarah's lies were tearing at my family, and I had enough evidence to confront her. I asked her to meet me at a quiet cafe in Kirkland, hoping a public place would keep things civil. My heart pounded as I walked in, clutching my phone with screenshots and Michael's dating app find. Sarah arrived, her bump smaller today, barely noticeable under a loose sweater. She smiled, too bright, too practiced. Emily, so good to see you, she chirped. I didn't smile back. Sarah, we need to talk about your pregnancy, I said, keeping my voice steady. Her eyes narrowed for a split second before her smile returned. What do you mean? The twins are doing great. I took a deep breath, my hands trembling. I'm worried about you. The due dates don't add up. You were drinking at my wedding. Your bump keeps changing. I slid my phone across the table, showing the dating app photo, no bump, dated 2 weeks ago. Her face froze, then twisted. Are you calling me a liar? She snapped, loud enough for nearby customers to glance over. My cheeks burned, but I pressed on. I'm not trying to hurt you, Sarah. I just want the truth. Her voice rose, shrill. You're just jealous. You got the perfect wedding, the perfect husband, and now you can't stand me having my moment. Heads turned. I felt trapped, my words stuck in my throat. Sarah, please, I whispered, trying to calm her. This isn't about jealousy. You're taking money from family, $2,000 from Linda, crib money from Uncle Dan. Her eyes flashed with panic, then rage. You've always hated me, she shouted, standing up, hand on her bump. You can't handle me being happy. She stormed out, leaving me mortified as strangers stared. I sat there, shaking, my coffee untouched. An hour later, my phone lit up with notifications. Sarah had posted on Instagram a tearful selfie with mascara streaks, captioned, "My own cousin accused me of faking my pregnancy because she's jealous." My heart sank. Family texts poured in, mom, aunts, cousins, all upset. How could you, Emily? Mom called, her voice sharp. She's pregnant. Why would you say that? I tried explaining the champagne, the shifting bump, the dating app, but it sounded weak, desperate. Even James's mom texted, asking if I was okay mentally. I broke down that night, sobbing in James's arms. Everyone thinks I'm the bad guy, I choked out. What if I'm wrong? He held me tight. You're not wrong. She's manipulating everyone. The next day, Sarah posted again, now claiming triplets, with another generic ultrasound. My anger flared. She was doubling down. Michael texted, furious. She's scamming us all. Aunt Linda called, her voice shaky. I confronted her about the $2,000. She got defensive, said it was for medical bills. I don't believe her. I felt a surge of relief someone else saw through her. But Sarah's lies were fracturing our family, and I was stuck in the middle, labeled the villain. I needed to end this. But how? Confronting her alone had backfired. I had to find a way to expose her without losing everyone I loved. The fallout from Sarah's Instagram post was brutal. Family members kept texting, calling me heartless for bullying her. I felt trapped, but Michael and Aunt Linda stood by me. We decided enough was enough. At a family meeting at my mom's house in Olympia, we laid out everything: the screenshots, the dating app photo, the $2,000 loan, the inconsistent bump. The room went silent as I spoke, my voice shaking but firm. Sarah's not pregnant, I said. She's been lying to everyone. Mom's eyes widened, torn between disbelief and doubt. Uncle Dan, who'd given her money, looked furious. Sarah wasn't there. She'd dodged the invite, but Aunt Linda called her, putting her on speaker. Sarah, explain this, Linda demanded. Sarah's voice cracked. I didn't mean to hurt anyone. Then silence. Finally, she admitted it. I'm not pregnant. I made it up. Gasps filled the room. She confessed to faking the pregnancy for attention, spiraling after losing her job. I'm seeing a therapist, she added, her voice small. I know I messed up. Mom's face softened, but I felt a mix of relief and anger. She'd scammed our family, ruined my wedding, and painted me as the villain, but her admission was a start. We agreed she'd return the gifts and money, including Linda's $2,000, and delete her false posts. Over the next few weeks, Sarah followed through. She posted a vague apology online, admitting to personal struggles, and returned the baby shower gifts. She started working at a small ad agency in Seattle, keeping a low profile. I wasn't ready to forgive her, but I saw effort. At my birthday dinner, hosted by Mom, Sarah showed up quietly, helping set the table. No drama, no spotlight. She handed me a small gift, a framed photo of us as kids, laughing at a park in Tacoma. On the back, she'd written, "I'm sorry, Emily. I'm trying to be better." My throat tightened. "This means a lot," I said, my voice soft. She nodded, eyes downcast. Later, she pulled me aside. "My therapist says I have issues with needing attention," she admitted. "It's why I did those things. I'm working on it." I saw sincerity in her eyes, something new. "I'm glad you're getting help," I replied, cautious but hopeful. She mentioned a new boyfriend, Tom, a quiet guy from her office. "No lies this time," she said with a shy smile. I wanted to believe her, but trust was hard after everything. James, always my rock, hugged me that night. "She's trying," he said. "That's something." I nodded, but part of me braced for another twist. Sarah kept her word for months, staying out of drama. Family gatherings felt lighter, less tense. She even brought Tom to a barbecue, and he seemed genuine, grounding her. I started to relax, thinking maybe she'd changed. Her apology at the meeting, the returned money, the quiet job posts, it all pointed to progress. But I couldn't fully let my guard down. Sarah's lies had cut deep, and healing would take time. Still, seeing her try gave me hope. Maybe we could rebuild something real, not the toxic game she'd played before. For now, I focused on my life with James, hoping the worst was behind us. Sarah's change seemed real. She invited me to her wedding, a small backyard ceremony in Vancouver, Washington, with her fiancé Tom. I hesitated. Memories of her lies still raw, her fake pregnancy, the stolen spotlight, the $2,000 scam. But her quiet apologies, her therapy, her new job, they felt genuine. After talking with James, I agreed to be her maid of honor. Not because I'd forgotten, but because I believed in second chances. The wedding was simple, just 30 guests, no drama. Sarah wore a modest dress, her smile soft, not performative. I stood beside her, cautious but moved. She didn't try to upstage anyone. It felt like closure. Back home, James and I painted our apartment, took a trip to Cannon Beach, and talked about starting a family. Life was peaceful, finally drama-free. Then, at a family dinner, Mom pulled me aside, her voice low. "Emily, Sarah's been telling people you're pregnant, due in August." My heart stopped. I gripped the counter, stunned. "I'm not pregnant," I whispered. "We're not even trying." Mom frowned. "She said you asked her to plan your baby shower, to keep it quiet." My blood ran cold. I'd trusted her, stood at her wedding, believed her change. Was this another lie? I called Sarah, my hands shaking. "Why are you telling people I'm pregnant?" I demanded. She laughed, too cheery. "Oh, Emily, I thought you told me at the coffee shop. A surprise." I froze. "I never said that." Silence stretched. "Are you sure?" she stammered. I could have sworn. Her voice faltered, but I wasn't buying it. "Fix this, Sarah. Now." I hung up, my chest tight. James paced, furious. "She's back at it?" I nodded, dread pooling in my stomach. Had she really changed, or was this just a new game? I texted Michael, asking him to help correct the rumor. As I stared at my phone, Sarah's latest Instagram post popped up, a normal photo of her at work. No drama, no lies. Yet. But I couldn't shake the feeling that something was brewing, and I wasn't sure I could trust her again.